Hello and welcome to the Blood Red Podcast, live from Wembley for the 2025 Carabao Cup Final as Liverpool take on Newcastle United. I'm joined here by Theo. Squires, Theo. I mean, first of all, what a wonderful occasion this is. Unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, it is one of the great stadiums in world football, isn't it? It's a privilege to be here today.
Yeah, always love coming to Wembley. Fortunately for us, it's quite a regular trip these days, isn't it? Third League Cup final in, what we're talking, 4 years, 3 years, something like that. Obviously, had the FA Cup as well. I've been fortunate enough to do it at the European Championships when England were basically hosting it a few years ago. Yeah, always love coming to Wembley. Hopefully, many more trips to come with Liverpool under Arne's slot. It's going to be a good atmosphere today. Newcastle fans already filling the stand quite well to our right. You just know it's going to be a much better atmosphere than sometimes we see like Liverpool, Chelsea. Like, these are two of the best fan bases in English football. It's a proper final.
For those who, for me to just emphasise how many times Theo has been here covering Liverpool, we were just in the press room a short while ago and Theo knew the way around Wembley. Probably better than most people know the way around the back of the hand. So yeah, this is kind of what we're dealing with. We're just going to run through some team news, but before we do, a shout out to our sponsors, NordVPN. Theo, Arne Slot makes two changes to the team at Oscar PSG on Tuesday night. Just to run through that team, we've got Kelleher in goal, replaces Alisson, and then we've got Ponce at right back, which is an enforced change of Trent Alexander-Arnold, who suffered an injury to his ankle in midweek. And then we've got Konate and Van Dijk at the back, Andy Robertson at left back, Gravenberch and McAllister as expected in midfield. Then that front four is Salah, Szoboszlai, Diaz with Jota in attack. Theo, just before we get onto the Newcastle team and look at some of the key battles, key areas where this game can be won and potentially lost, just give me your initial reaction to that Liverpool team. Is it what we were expecting?
Yeah, I think so. Arne Slot was asked about the goalkeeping situation, and he said, look at my lineups. That'll pretty much tell you who's going to go in goal. I haven't told them yet. And that could obviously have been interpreted two ways. You look at my League Cup lineups, or you look at my Premier League lineups. I took it to mean Kelleher would start in goal, so I'm not surprised there. He's never let Liverpool down. He's the League Cup goalkeeper. He's won this 2 times before, been the hero 2 times before. Fingers crossed he can make it a hat-trick today. It's just a situation that you don't batter an eyelid and Keifer Kelleher starts in goal, especially in this competition. With no Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kwanzaa was probably the best of the bunch to be that makeshift replacement. You certainly rather have the natural defender there than, say, Curtis Jones or Robertson or Tsimikas on their weaker side. Kwanzaa's looked pretty decent, hasn't he, when he's come on it right back in the last few games. Certainly better than he did against Newcastle when he started there back in December for that 3-3 draw. But he's good on the ball, he can beat a man, he's got a good cross on him. So I'm intrigued to see how he gets on there today from the start, because depending how serious this Alexander-Arnold injury could be, this could be his position for a month or so. Like, we don't know when Conor Bradley's going to be back yet. Not in the Northern Ireland squad for the international break, so we know it's going to be another few weeks at least. And the rest of the side pretty much picks itself, doesn't it? Midfield, you can maybe go Curtis Jones in there, but this is the 3 you want to see. McAllister, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai. It's going to be such a mouth-watering occasion when you look at the trio they're going to be up against, which we'll get to in a minute. And then there are those couple of dilemmas in attack. If Gakpo's fully fit, I'm sure he would have started, but he's only just back. He wasn't at his best against PSG. So it's not a massive surprise to see Diaz get the nod over him. And it always seems a little bit better when you've got a natural striker up front. And you're always going to go Diogo Jota over Darwin Núñez because he's a little bit more reliable. I think if Cody Gakpo was fit, maybe that's another conversation. Maybe you'd have seen Diaz there. But it's a good lineup. Could be better if you had Gakpo fully fit, or if there wasn't the shortage on defenders. But it's as good as Liverpool could hope for. It's good what we can expect from Arne Slot.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about Cleveland Kelleher there, who has just actually come out right on cue. I mean, everyone will talk about the 2022 League Cup final and kind of his penalty heroics, but rightly, as you say, last year he was unbelievable. I mean, it was the kind of the cop kids that were heralded for that, and Virgil van Dijk obviously scored the winner. But Kelleher's performance that afternoon, he really kept Liverpool in the game to kind of build that platform to go on and score the winner. And Theo, just some of the key battles then where this game could be won and lost. I mean, probably looking at wide areas. You're looking at Salah against Livramento down that right side, but you're also looking the other way. Harvey Barnes comes in for Newcastle in place of the suspended Anthony Gordon, and I'm sure he'll fancy his chances going up against Sharp Quanto afternoon. He's someone who hasn't had a lot of action this. Under Arne Slot, really, as you say, he came on in midweek against PSG, and I thought it was, he had a good performance, but it's a big occasion to throw someone into, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. He's not started lots of football this season. That's something he's referenced himself. But he's always been a very calm and confident player. He just looks different level to some of the youngsters we've seen come through from the academy. Like, he's ready to be first team option, isn't he? And he's not a youngster anymore. So it'll be interesting to see how he does against Harvey Barnes. Barnes has had a couple of injuries this year, but let's not forget, if Anthony Gordon was more equally comfortable on the right-hand side, it probably would be both Barnes and Gordon starting in that front three. It's only because you weren't getting as much from Gordon on the right that Murphy got his chance and grabbed it with both hands. Fair play to him. Murphy could cause Robertson some issues. Like, we know, Robertson's not having his best season, so that'll be an interesting battle to see. And then it's the fullbacks, isn't it, against the Liverpool forwards. Livramento, I think he's probably edged being Newcastle's first choice right back this season. He's at left back today because Lewis Hall's injured, but then him Salah cutting inside, that could suit him because he'll be on his stronger foot defending against Salah there. And then it's what Kwanzaa can do, getting down the right hand side, see if you can get him behind him. I think for Liverpool, the big battle is Diaz versus Kieran Trippier. We've seen him in some pretty poor games for Newcastle in the past 18 months. He's not the player he once was. Still a very seasoned professional. He's one of their most experienced players. One of the few players that's got experience of actually winning trophies. But he's not as quick as he used to be. And when you're up against Luis Diaz, it's the best defence in the world struggle there. So that could be a really interesting battle that could be decisive for Liverpool there. And you look at this midfield three. This is why we're all here. This is the battle we're looking for. McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai versus Ramirez, Tonali, Joe Linton. You can't call it. They're the two most entertaining midfield threes in the Premier League for me.
They all played in the 3-3 more or less, didn't they, at St James's Park in December? I mean, that was, you say that on that afternoon, Newcastle, enjoyed a great success, really, didn't they? Obviously, Liverpool rolled back early in the second half. But in that first half, I mean, Liverpool were really dominated. And to be fair, there was other players like Paul Provence, I remember Joe Gomez, and Kwanzaa probably weren't up to the scratch they should have been. But just to run through that Newcastle team for those who haven't seen it, we've got Nick Pope in goal. As Theo says, Livramento filling in at left back today. Dan Burn then at centre back with Fabian Schär. Kieran Trippier at right back. Then the midfield three, of course, Joe Linton, Tonali, and Ramirez. Then in attack, we've got Harvey Barnes in place for the suspended Anthony Gordon, Alexander Isak, and Jacob Murphy. I mean, Theo, one thing that is for certain, surely, is that there will be goals here today. I mean, the attacking quality on display is, I know finals can be cagey, as we've seen with Liverpool and Chelsea in recent years, but surely there's going to be a few goals to pick this afternoon.
You'd like to think so, and that's one battle we didn't just mention. Isak against Van Dijk, and Konate always seems to score against Liverpool. Probably the informed number 9 in English football this season, so it'll be interesting to see how he does on this showpiece occasion. And yeah, you'd imagine there'll be goals because Newcastle ship a load, Liverpool score a load, haven't been the best defensively at times. It's going to be an exciting game. It's also interesting looking at both substitutes benches because Newcastle don't have typical wealth in reserve, do they? Whereas you look at Liverpool's, so much attacking reserve there when you've got Nunes, Chiesa, Jones, Gakpo, Elliott. If it's not going really well for Liverpool in those 90 minutes from the start, you've got plenty of options on the bench you can turn to try and turn the game in your favour. And with Newcastle, they can turn to what? Joe Willock, Callum Wilson. It's not that same level of quality, and that's probably what makes Liverpool favourites here. That strength and depth. They are such a strong squad. They've had a poor day in midweek against PSG where they haven't been able to take their chances, but you'd expect to see them respond. When you have a game where you create those many chances, don't take them, you usually expect a response next game out.
Absolutely, and it's just starting to liven up here. We've had the goalkeepers of both sets of teams. Newcastle came out a bit early, maybe about 25 past 3. Kelleher has just led Liverpool out about 5 or so minutes ago. I'm sure this place is going to erupt when both teams come out to warm up, and then in about an hour,
more like plenty of booze, mate.
Well, and then in about 45 minutes time, when Van Dijk and Bruno Guimaraes lead both teams out. Theo, before we finish up, can I get a score prediction from you?
I said 2-1, I think, on Blood Red on Friday. I'm maybe beginning to think there'll be a few more goals. Yeah. I'm maybe thinking a 3-2 after extra time. There's just so much attacking talent here, and the 11s are so good.
And there's a few changes in defence as well, isn't there? Which will play into that as well. I feel 2-0 Liverpool, but I feel like I'm Mark Lawrence all those years ago on Match of the Day, and every I've never predicted Liverpool to lose, and I'm certainly not going to start that this afternoon. So 2-0 is my prediction. Me and Theo will be back shortly after full time to a Blood Red post-match podcast, so please do join us there, and that can be found on the YouTube. But in the meantime, fingers crossed Liverpool will get this over the line this afternoon here at Wembley Stadium.